Hello, my name is David Brandon. You are tuned in to Film Courage here on latalkradio.com.
And I am your co-host, Karen Warden. Today's show is Peter Rallis, the host of Movie Buzz. Movie Buzz is the one and only sexy show that will give you the latest,
yes,
you like that? Up-to-date news on movies. Peter has amassed over 80,000 subscribers to his YouTube channel, and you can go to youtube.com/RallisP. And also, he has, 20 million video views?
Yeah, I think it's closer to 21 million.
21 million. He has done this before graduating from college, which he will do in a couple years. Nice. Well, let's welcome to Film Courage, Mr. Peter Rallis. Hello, Peter.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
It's great. It's great to have you. Great to have you on with us, Peter.
Thank you.
Once again, to see Peter's work, please visit youtube.com/RallisP, and that's RALLISP. Today's hashtag for Film Courage is hashtag Film Courage. If you would like to, that's if you want to follow today's conversation on Twitter. You can also send your questions for Peter to @FilmCourage. If you want to reach us off the air, please send us an email to filmcourage@gmail.com.
Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what attracted you to film?
I'm originally from Bainbridge Island, Washington, which is like a little suburb of like Seattle. When I was growing up, I was really into movies, and my dad would always show me the classics like Aliens and Terminator 2 when I was like 8 years old. So that was a good, for me. And at the time, my mom was friends with the high school basketball coach. I was also into basketball at the time. So he brought me to one of the games to scout, and he asked me if I wanted to write down all the stats of the game or to film the game. I thought it'd be much easier just to film it because I didn't want to mess up any of the stats. So I filmed the entire game, and then about a week later, I got an email from the basketball team saying, "Hey, Peter, thank you for filming the game. We ended up winning both those games against those teams." And I felt really cool about that. Like something, even though it was just like filming a basketball game, someone recognized what I did and thanked me for it. And then ever since then, I kind of wanted to start making movies and stuff. And so I started making a lot of short films. And then when I was in high school, I was working on a short film, and in the scene, there was a football game. So I did like a football highlight reel, and I showed it to my TV video teacher, and he really liked it because he was also one of the coaches for the team. And he told me that he wanted to move me up into the next video class, like the TV video 3-4 class, which is more advanced. And they were in charge of the morning, like the Friday morning broadcast news stuff. So along with my film stuff, I also got introduced to kind of doing some kind of broadcast work. And I had a lot of fun with that. That was my sophomore year. And then I did the same thing junior year. I was in that same class. And then my senior year, the teacher left to go work somewhere else, and everyone wanted the news to come back. So I by myself, I produced every week the Friday morning news show for my school. I wrote it. I was the anchor for it, and people, still enjoyed it very much, which was nice. And also, I was one of the writers from my high school newspaper, and I wrote a monthly article called Movie Buzz because I was still very interested in the movies and the business. And so I would always write updates in the newspaper. And then I got accepted to film school in New York City at the School of Visual Arts. I was there for about 2 years, and that's when I started my Movie Buzz show on YouTube. It started out my first episode was really terrible. I like to keep it up on my channel just to see how far I've come since that first episode. And I started getting really involved with the YouTube community, and that's kind of what inspired me to now transfer to Emerson in Boston. And now I'm studying broadcast journalism, so I've kind of switched. I still like to shoot the short films on my spare time, but I'm now focusing my attention on broadcast journalism just because where my YouTube show has taken me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you're in your early 20s, right?
Yeah, I turned 21 like 3 months ago.
Okay, I mean, when I was in my 20s, my drive left little to be desired, we'll say that. Peter, where does your drive come from? And do you think that your drive to do things and produce content is an exception for someone your age?
Yeah, well, I don't want to put down the rest of my friends who are probably listening.
No.
But I've always been really passionate about my work and stuff, and I like to see my friends recognize that too, saying, you've done so much, and I still don't know what my major is going to be, or I don't know what I'm doing with that, and so I'm glad to see people recognize the time and effort that I put into my work.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who are your role models? Who do you turn to for inspiration? Who do you learn from? And who do you pattern yourself after?
I really like Joel McHale, who does the soup. I kind of like, that's why I kind of updated my set too. I just bought a green screen and some new lighting too. I'm always trying to improve my show. And I like Stephen Colbert too. I just think that both those guys are very quick and snappy with their comedic timing, and I try to not necessarily copy it, but I like the idea of how quick they are with their reasoning and their answers to things.
Peter, can you just expand in terms of what was the inspiration of you starting Movie Buzz?
Well, my first video I ever uploaded to YouTube was back in my senior year. I did a Decades dance video where I had this kind of a promotion thing for a dance at the school, and we filmed like various dances throughout the decades. I uploaded to YouTube, and it got quite a big hit count. And so that's why I kind of first got involved in the YouTube community. I was watching some other content creators, and then this one guy, Michael Buckley, who does What the Buck Show, he got featured on YouTube, and I noticed that he was doing like a news type of thing, where he was probably like the godfather of like the reporters for YouTube. And I was like, I think I can do that, because what he was doing was kind of mixed between my broadcast stuff I was doing in high school and my Movie Buzz articles. And so I'm like, well, I can just combine the two. I'm like, I can do that. I can take my broadcasting and my Movie Buzz, and I'll make it a show. And I noticed that no one was really talking about movie news on YouTube. So I'm like, I need to jump on this before anyone else does. So I was lucky with my timing with getting involved in the YouTube community, just because how big it is now and kind of how hard it is to make your own show now than it was 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years ago, the number one subscriber had like 100,000 subscribers. Now the number one subscriber has 2 million subscribers. And so I was lucky to join the site at the time that there wasn't too many people that I was able to kind of start my show up, and it was really fun because I really enjoy, looking for the various news stuff and being able to report on it.
Peter, can you talk a little bit about the first episode that you shot? Did you have any equipment at that time? Did you have to borrow it? I mean, how did you get that first one off the ground? How did you edit it?
Well, as a graduation present, my mom gave me Final Cut Pro, which was a really great big help because that's a fantastic editing software. And my first episode, I just shot it with my the webcam that's built into my computer, and I just kind of talked. I was like in my dorm room that had zero lighting, but I put a suit on, so it made it look like a little professional. And I was very slow with my delivery, and it really wasn't the greatest. And then I bought a video camera. I was shooting my stuff on that, but I was just shooting on a bare wall, still not very good lighting at all. And then when I came home for winter break, I was able to shoot in the same kind of studio that I was using when I was filming my morning broadcast in high school. So it looked a little better, but then when I got back to school, I didn't still have anything set up. And then my second year of doing it, I bought a red piece of foam core board from Staples, which I used for like a year and a half. And then it wasn't until this semester I actually bought a green screen, some lighting, I got a new microphone, I got a new camera, so I'm always looking to kind of improve the quality of my show. I'm always trying to make it better than the last episode.
Mm-hmm. And how many people watched the first episode?
When my first episode came out, I had about like 40 subscribers because I was posting some other like stuff, like other various blog type of stuff. So my first episode had like 40 subscribers. I got it like about 1,000 hits.
Oh wow!
And then over like about a month and a half, I got 1,000 hits. And then by the time it took me until my first episode was December 6th, 2007, and then May of 2008. So about 9 months or less than that, 7 or 8 months. I got 1,000 subscribers, and then I was able to join the partner program and start making a little bit of some money from my videos, which has been nice for part-time job wise.
Yeah, I bet.
We're going to be getting into that in more detail in just a little bit, but
well, how did you promote it? What tools did you use, and who did you promote it to?
Well, when I first starting off, probably one of the best things to do, especially for people on YouTube, is to go to all the YouTube gatherings. You really YouTube is very much centered around. It's kind of like who you know that gets you in, and it's like what you know that keeps you there. And it was great because at the gatherings, I would meet various YouTubers, and they would want to collab with me or give me shout outs, or I give them shout outs. And the big YouTube gathering that's coming up this summer is in Los Angeles. It's called VidCon I think all the information's on vidcon2010.com, and this is a big YouTube community. Like all the big YouTubers will be there. So I think if people, I'll be there as well. And so it's a great chance for people to meet each other and kind of collaborate. That's kind of how I got my start. I mean, on my second episode of Movie Buzz, Michael Buckley from What the Buck Show commented on it, and it was kind of a big kind of inspiration to see one of these people who've done a lot kind of inspired me to do well. And he was always a big supporter of my stuff. But I think the number one thing is you have to. There's a lot of interacting and getting connections, and that's kind of what helped me out big time. It's like it's very much in the business world. It's the same on making videos on the internet.
Can you talk about the early effort that you put in to kind of grow Movie Buzz, to grow your channel? I mean, you went from 40 subscribers to 1,000. What kind of effort did that take?
Well, luckily my content is movie related, and so when people would search for trailers, my videos would come up, even though not necessarily my video would be what they're looking for. They would also, along with, because I always link to the information I'm talking about. So when a new trailer does come out, I can link to that or other news stories. So people originally found me, it was because they were looking for something else, but ended up liking what they saw, which was nice. And I noticed in my statistics for my videos, 60% of my views comes from related videos. So if someone's watching a trailer for, let's say, Iron Man 2, in the related video section, my videos would come up as well, because I also talk about Iron Man 2. And that's how some of my audience was able to find me. So I'm lucky enough to have a show about content that people search for quite often, especially for trailers or movie news. So that's been helpful as well.
Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, what was the first video that really caught on and that kind of gave you the push to keep going and saying, you know what, I'm on to something here?
I talked about the first, when the trailer for The Incredible Hulk came out, the second one, that got about, no, actually my first video was, I was talking about the Cloverfield monster, because no one knew what the Cloverfield monster looked like. And so I had a photo, think like, hey, this is what the monster looks like, and that's where everyone was like really caught on to that, because they thought, oh, this is the photo. I got some information, some inside scoop, and I got quite a bit of subscribers off that. I don't remember the number, but I remember like, wow, like this is really catching on. Like people are looking for this information, and I'm the guy to go to. So that was a real big help for my show.
With the way that you talk about movies, being honest and candid, I'm sure it attracts its share of detractors, should we say? And I'm
yes.
sure it hasn't taken long for people to maybe start bashing you and what you're doing. What are your thoughts on haters, and how do you handle them?
Now, haters come in all shapes and sizes, but
yes,
I like them though, because when it's constructive, I like them, because when I started out, I had terrible lighting, so it'd say, "Hey, your lighting sucks." I'm like, oh, okay, well then I guess I need to fix that lighting. Or someone say you're talking too fast, or the show's too long, or this content's boring. Like, okay, well I need to step it up. So I like the nice comments are always good. So it shows I'm doing a good job. But I like reading the people who say that I suck, because then I need to do better then next time.
So it almost helps shape you then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Do they ever get you down, Peter? I mean, do they ever start to wear on you? I mean, how do you insulate yourself from the constant just bagging, or just people coming down on you?
Well, most when people really come down on me is when I review movies. Like when people disagree with me, they really, really disagree with me. Like I got a whole lot of backlash when I said that Avatar wasn't my favorite film, and people were just like, "You're an idiot, you don't know anything." But then again, it's it's not that I'm wrong. It's just what my thoughts of it were.
Mm-hmm.
People always think that when it comes to reviewing, it's like they're always right, and who anyone thinks differently is wrong. I have a specific opinion about it. Some people like it, some people agree with it. But when people don't, they really, really disagree with me. But I think it's fun, because I like creating that conversation. I like having my viewers, it's like I'm trying to create a conversation, as opposed to this is everything that I believe and this is everything that's true. I like people responding to what I have to say, and because I like people talking about movies, because I think movies are great, and when people are talking about it, it's always a good time.
You are listening to Film Courage. We broadcast live every Sunday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, here on LATalkRadio.com. We're interviewing Peter Rallis. To see his work, please visit youtube.com/RallisP. And once again, that's RALLISP. If you have questions for Peter Rallis, please send them to Twitter at Film Courage. You can also use the hashtag Film Courage.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, I mean, you've built up a subscriber base of over 80,000 people, and your videos have over 20 plus million views. Mm-hmm. how much money have you invested in your show, and can you estimate how much it has cost you to build up your brand?
Well, having to go see all the movies, I guess that kind of plays into my cost of the show.
Okay.
But when I was first starting out, it didn't cost me a single dime to produce my show because I was filming. Well, I had to buy my camera, but I also needed that for school, so I didn't necessarily see it as a cost. It was just kind of like, oh, good thing I have a camera to shoot this. But recently, when I upgraded my studio about a month ago, when I bought the green screen, I bought a couple lights and a new microphone. That total cost was $150, which was pretty nice. And my old camera broke, but thank God it was still under a warranty, so I got a free replacement, an even better camera. Oh, wow. But yeah, my total upgrade cost for my producing my show was about $150 with the lights and buying the green screen, which I got very cheap. I was very lucky about getting that.
And I don't know if we've gone into specifics. I'm looking at the screen here. We got a question from Jake Stetler, and he's asking what camera and editing software do you use for your show?
The camera I got is a Sony Vixia camera. I'm going to get the real specifics real quick. Okay.
You know, I've actually used the Sony Vixia HV30 for our film Goodbye Promise. So
I got a Vixia HFS10 or the AS100s for both cameras. But yeah, it's a HD camera. I got it for it's about $1,100. And it's a hard drive camera too, so I'm able to film a lot of content on that. And then I edit with Final Cut Pro on my MacBook Pro.
Gotcha.
So, and I've been using that system for 2 years, and it's been working out absolutely great for me.
And can you talk about the tipping point for Movie Buzz? I mean, the point where all the work that you were putting in finally got to the point where your audience started doing the work for you. You know, the point where Movie Buzz kind of took on a life of its own.
Yeah, it's really important too when I started my show that I was very consistent. Like at the end of, let's say on the end of, I do shows Tuesdays and Fridays. So at the end of a Tuesday show, I'd say, okay, that's all for today's show, and I'll see you on Friday. So people know when to expect a new video. And on Fridays, I'll say, I'll see you on Tuesday. Kind of being consistent with that and telling people when to expect a new video kind of helps to keep your audience coming back, as opposed to, well, that was a nice video, I don't know when I'll see that guy again. To let them know that I'll be back in a couple days kind of makes people kind of stay. And usually my subscriber base jumps a lot when it comes to the summer movies that are coming out. Like when the Iron Man 2 trailer got released, I got a big boost in views because people always want to see what the trailer was, and I had other news to help report along with that. And so it kind of helps. It depends on what movie I'm talking about. So if people are really looking for Iron Man 2 or really looking for the Hulk, then I'm luckily enough that my videos are there when they search for that.
Once you reached 1,000 subscribers or 10,000 subscribers, like when did you see it just really kind of become its own animal?
Well, it didn't really get a big, huge amount of jump. I noticed it was kind of like exponentially kind of growing. It was kind of like, okay, I got this many today, but it was a little more the next day. And there wasn't necessarily a big point where it really took off, like sharp took off, but I could tell that because like once you get more subscribers, it's easier to get that next 1,000 than it was when you first started. Like when my first trip to 1,000 took me longer than it was to get me to 2,000. And just because I had more people commenting and rating my videos and discussing, it was kind of like a natural growth to it. There wasn't no kind of like big spike after one video than another.
Okay, I don't know. We have this side question coming in from Tony Boy, and like I said, this is kind of just a little wrench here, but what's Peter's opinion on the European film industry?
Well, I've seen European films. I don't really know how the business works. But a great film that came out of the UK was Pirate Radio, or for them it was The Boat That Rocked. I thought that was a great film. I don't see a whole lot of foreign movies just because I have to keep current with the movies that are coming out in Hollywood and America just for the sake of my show, but I don't really know that much about the European market.
Now, coming back to this in terms of building an audience, what are some of the nuts and bolts of building an audience on YouTube? What should be in the title? What should we have in the information section? What do we use as tags? Your thoughts on video responses, your thoughts on allowing negative comments, and you've already kind of touched on that we should be posting frequently and letting people know when we're posting content. But can you kind of go into some of the nuts and bolts?
Yeah, it's always great to network. I mean, if you start, because first of all, if you're like a filmmaker and you have a lot of short films, I recommend putting those on YouTube today, like as fast as you can, because the site is growing unbelievably fast. And according to the New York Times, 20 hours of video is uploaded every minute to the site. Every minute, 20 hours, which is the equivalent to 100,000 full-length movies every week. So you're also competing against not necessarily other people's content, but just the amount of videos that are on the site. And when that iPhone 3GS came out that took videos, it could also upload to YouTube from your phone. There's a 400% increase of uploaded videos. So there's a huge, it's very competitive right now. And the best way to do is you have to go to those gatherings. VidCon will be great this summer. You got to interact with people on Twitter. You just have to be very immersed in kind of the community. You need to respond to comments, even the hate ones. You just got to keep the conversation going. You need to be consistent when it comes to uploading videos, and you make sure you're always looking to improve your content. I always never satisfied with my last one. I always try to make my newest video better than my last video. But yeah, it's very important to networking is huge when it comes to the internet, because someone is always there to help you out, or you're always there to help someone else out. I've met a lot of amazing people through my show, and I'm very I'm blessed to kind of be the spot where I am now than where I could have been if I was just kind of okay with my work or wasn't too happy about it, or kind of because if I was still doing my show today, how it looked the first episode, I'd be stuck with I don't even know, I'd just be very terrible.
And can you also touch on the specifics in terms of how creative should we be with our titles? Because I noticed you do some great stuff on your YouTube page, and once again we're talking youtube.com/RallisP. Even the design background of getting people to subscribe, links to Twitter and Facebook. Can you touch on some of that technical stuff?
Yeah, for title-wise, what I was doing for about 200 episodes, I always say Movie Buzz, and then I would name my episode and then have the title. And I realized that wasn't really helping my stuff. I would rather have my title and then put the Movie Buzz part at the end, because when people are searching for the videos, they're looking for the content first as opposed to what the name of your show is first. So I would say Movie Buzz 215 Iron Man 2 trailer. Well, that would kind of be pushed down towards the end of the title. So now I'm just saying Iron Man 2 trailer first. That way people can look for the content they're searching for first before it comes to, because if they don't know what my show is, they're not looking for the title of my show, and that kind of bumps back what they're doing. So always put whatever the main content of the video is, that needs to be the first words of your title. And then at the end you could say, and this is Movie Buzz, at the end of whatever your title is. That helps a lot. And for descriptions, sometimes people will add tags that have really nothing to do with their video. It could be a video about their cats, and then at the end they'll put a hashtag like boobs in it, just in case that way their video will come up, which is really a cheap way to do it. But it's really good to just keep your tags kind of the same with the title, or even put tags in that has something to do with the content of as well. So when I talk about the behind the scenes of Clash of the Titans, I'll put in Clash of the Titans behind the scenes in my tags, and that helps a lot. It's as many relevant tags you can put in your videos, the bigger it will help with your viewership.
Let's take a what-if scenario here. I'm going to throw out kind of a Debbie Downer question here.
Okay.
Let's say the internet was reset and everyone lost all of their account information and networks, and you lost everything and had to build up what you've worked so hard for the past few years. If you had to start over today, what would be your plan of attack? How would you begin to build up your audience knowing what you now know?
If I had to start a brand new YouTube channel?
Just everything, yeah.
I would stay consistent with what I was doing, because that's kind of what got me where I was in the first place. Was you gotta be consistent. If someone would want to start a show today, find something that you love to do, because luckily I found this thing that I love talking about movie news. I love reporting on it, and it's easier for people to make more and more videos about something if it's something that they like reporting on. Some people talk about, my friend Will, he does the winners and losers. He talks about people who are moving up and down subscribers, talk about other news that's happening in the community. That's what his thing is. And some people Michael Buckley does his pop culture stuff. That's something that he loves to do. So if you can find something that you're very passionate about, it's very easy to be consistent with it. And I think if I were to start over again, I would still be doing the same thing I'm doing now. I would make sure to let people know when to expect my videos, when the next one's coming out, how to follow me on Twitter, how to Facebook fan me or whatever, because it's networking on the internet is very important because everyone's connected to someone somehow, and the internet is huge in its capabilities, so it's really great to kind of have people around that can help you out and helping them too.
And Peter, one thing that's happened with you in terms of syndication is that you're now involved with Indy Mogul, who's picked up your channel. So did you contact Indy Mogul about tapping into their audience, or did they approach you?
They approached me back in October of 2009. It was part of the company called Next New Networks, and they're in charge of a bunch of different YouTube channels. They do Barely Political, Barely Digital, Indy Mogul, and some other various people. And they came to me and they wanted me to join the Indy Mogul family. And then back in December, we finally got all that worked out. And what's really helping me now is that since I've put myself out on the internet, and it's really great because even if you're do any kind of media, like even if it's not just news, if you have music videos or if you're an artist or you're a musician, like put yourself out there on the internet. You may even get some backlash, but you got to do it because someone will find you. Someone will absolutely find you. And some new musicians have signed on with some labels who started off on YouTube. I know Andrew Garcia, who's on American Idol, he was on YouTube, and now he's a big supporting from the community. But yeah, Indy Mogul, I signed up with Indy Mogul, and they're now helping distribute my videos to other sites like MSN Video and their own websites, and they're looking to help me out and send me to hopefully South by Southwest next year. But it's really great, and if you're just consistent, always improving, someone will notice, and someone will help you out, and you can get an interview on Film Courage, so it's all good.
Nice, thank you. Good segue.
Now, we actually have a question coming in from Marinelle Montella, and she's asking, are you aware about the recent videos about Ray William Johnson put out by Philip DeFranco of the Philip DeFrance show channel on YouTube about Ray William Johnson cheating the system to get more subscribers? What for you are the qualities of a successful YouTube channel besides having millions of subscribers?
Well, Ray's a personal friend of mine, so I don't want to say too things. But but the problem is with situations like that is that there's currently a big lawsuit going on between Viacom and YouTube about copyright laws, and outside of YouTube, the fair use laws will make it able to people to use trailers or other footage as part of their show. But somehow for it being on YouTube, it's like some other kind of drama, just because the internet is like this whole medium is so new that not enough people know how to work with it yet. That's why there was a whole writer's strike, because of everyone not getting the right amount of money off of the stuff that was happening on the internet. But some users have other content that may be protected or not protected. But you got to be careful, because even some audio issues, especially on YouTube, they could just remove your video if it gets in the way of any copyright laws. But I've tried to steer away from that, just to make sure that my videos are still up on and available. So it's much easier, especially when you become a partner too, if you have like 100% original content. But for the people who've done otherwise, I mean, everyone is deserving of their subscribers. Some people want their subscribers for different reasons. Some people just want to be the number one on YouTube. Other people are using it as launching pads for their careers, like some musicians and other creators have done. So it's a great way just to be seen. And especially if you're a filmmaker, like, put your videos on the internet. Copyright it the way you can, but you absolutely put your stuff out there. It's very easy to put your stuff out there. I know one filmmaker made a short film, like a great short film. He got picked up by some big company, from like Universal or DreamWorks or something, but he just signed a deal because they found this guy's short film that was so great, and now he has all these other opportunities that have come up.
What kind of opportunities have opened up for you because of the audience that you've built for Movie Buzz? I mean, have you received any TV show offers, and are there any folks from Hollywood who have approached you? I've
met some people. If you remember the film Tropic Thunder, the kid, he was only in the film for like 2 seconds, but he played Matthew McConaughey's son. He was like in the photo. He was on the jet plane at the end. He watches my show, and so I've kind of created that little connection. But as for like stuff that's coming my way, I've had Indy Mogul talk to me, and recently MTV approached me to audition for a new pop culture show.
Oh, wow.
So I sent in my audition tape for that. So hopefully if I get that, that'd be really fantastic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that's the only I'll kind of offer stuff, but trying to keep myself connected, and many other people are looking to help promote their work as well, and I'm glad to help out anyone else that kind of needs the extra push for viewership, because if your content is good, it's very easy for people that you meet to help promote you. It just, you just got to be consistent with your work.
And what efforts are you doing to maintain, nurture, and grow your audience? I mean, how do you continue to connect with them?
Well, I like to respond to as many messages that I can to people who like ask me questions that are like outside the movie buzz, or they want to know kind of some extra information. I can send it to them. I just created that Facebook fan page. That way it's even easier for me to talk to people in between shows, and making sure that, like, hey, this is coming up. Or even on Twitter, I'll post movie news in between shows that maybe won't make it into the show, or like it's breaking news that I want people to know about right away. So that way people outside of YouTube, so I create an audience on Twitter, or I create an audience on Facebook, they're always looking for me for that movie news. Like, I want to be like the guy that they go to for that. Like, I want to be like, oh, I wonder what Peter Rallis has to say about this. And I'm trying to build up outside of YouTube as many people as I can to kind of keep my show consistent and bring in even new viewers as well.
You touched on this earlier. You did mention that there is money coming in from YouTube. I wanted to ask, is Movie Buzz, is it paying for your college?
It's not paying for my college, but it's definitely paying for my rent, which is good.
And so, I mean, so you have been able to monetize your efforts through YouTube.
Absolutely.
And that's through the partner program. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, how the partner program works is that once you have a specific number of subscribers and a consistent viewer base, like if you have 1,000 subscribers but you only have 5 people viewing your views, viewing your videos, it really doesn't no help for YouTube. But so you want to make sure you're consistently uploading videos, you have a strong subscriber base that's also viewing your content. And once you become a partner, you start getting ad revenue. And so the ads that appear to the right of my video, that's where I get my content. Is when guess where I get my revenue is when people check out the advertisers. That's how that comes in. So the more subscribers I get and the more people view my videos, the revenue is higher than it was if someone weren't to watch the video as much.
And then how hard is it to get into the partner program?
Well, now it's harder just because how many people are on the site. But once, like, their base for joining the partner program is 1,000 subscribers. So once you hit 1,000 and you see that you have like original copyright-free content, and you have you're uploading videos consistently, because if you only upload a video once every month or once every 3 months, they're not going to allow you in. But a lot of people every day are becoming partners to YouTube, and it's really helped them out, and it's even changed some people's lives where they end up quitting their job and just making their living off of YouTube.
And because we're talking about subscribers here, what would you say the best way to get to 1,000 subscribers? Obviously you talk about getting content on a consistent basis, but what ways can we actually attract the subscribers to get them to jump on board?
Yeah. Well, just because it's mostly networking. If you let's say you just started a show, let's say about music news. If someone were to reach out to me and say, "Hey, Peter, I just started this new show. Can you help me out with viewership, or do you want to do a collaboration?" Usually collaborations are the biggest thing that help out our new users, is if they are involved with another big YouTuber. Like, for instance, Shane Dawson has 1 million subscribers, and if someone's content's good enough that he wants to do a little bit of collaboration with them, it could bring a whole new viewership to those people, and subscribers can jump up big time. Also a great new thing that YouTube started about, I don't know how long it's been happening, maybe a year ago, where they added people in your box, and sometimes I put my friends in my box who need extra subscribers. And what that is, on my channel page, I have about 14 channels that I recommend, and when people subscribe to me, they also have the option of instantly subscribing to them as well. And if they see that they're in my recommended box, then they're more likely to subscribe to those people too. So some of my friends who just started, I have a friend, Ben, who does music, and I put him in my subscriber, my recommended box, and that's really helped him out too. So along with your networking, not necessarily if you can't do a collaboration, you maybe chance maybe get in someone's box, and that could help out your viewership as well. Just because the person would see, well, this person who has a ton of subscribers likes this other channel, so I might like it as well.
Mm-hmm. Are you monetizing your efforts in other ways outside of YouTube?
Well, I get some help with my stuff that I do with Indy Mogul, but it's basically I've just been getting that just from my YouTube stuff and with Indy Mogul stuff. I have no other projects I'm working on yet.
And what's next for you? I mean, you still don't graduate from college until May of 2011. I mean, how do you grow from here? Are things still growing for you? Do you feel stagnant?
Yeah, I'm really happy with where my show is now, and I feel like I'm in a place where like a lot of good things are going to start to be happening. I feel like 2010 is going to be a good year. I'm really excited, looking forward to VidCon. It'd be a great way just to network with even more big people who are all part of the community and who just do not necessarily YouTube videos, but like any other content website, people will be there as well. So, I'm excited about, because I'm glad I have at least a year and a half left until I graduate, where I could still, because my show has been growing more and more every year, and I feel like by the time I graduate, I'll be at a point where opportunities outside of YouTube will be very will be there for me once I graduate.
Do you encourage your friends to build their own brands around their passions?
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of my friends who have seen kind of where I am now on YouTube. They always talk about, like, I want to have a show on YouTube, but I don't know what to do. But a lot of my friends were very hilarious. I just feel like if they just do regular blogs and vlogs, that they'll be able to get their content fairly easily. But yeah, the internet is hugely. I mean, it's growing at such a rate. It's almost becoming almost might kill television at one point. I mean, TV will always be there, but the amount of people who go and watch videos online is a lot more than people who watch a lot of TV shows that are online. I mean, some videos get millions of views that some TV shows will never get. And a lot of stuff is moving more technology. I mean, everything's becoming less and less papers. But Fandango just introduced a new application where when you buy movie tickets, you can have like a little barcode on your cell phone and be able to scan that, as opposed to like printing out tickets from your printer. Like, everything's becoming paperless. I think newspapers aren't going to be around that much longer. I mean, the online, like NewYorkTimes.com will be huge, but I don't think the paper circulation will be around. There's just a lot of, like, you can literally find everything on the internet, and if you want to create a name for yourself and a brand for yourself, or just advertising for even if you're like the head of some kind of like real estate company, just to be prevalent on the internet and to advertise yourself, it's a fantastic way to do that, because you literally never know who will find you, and to put yourself out there, like, someone will find it, and good things or great things can happen from it.
I'd like to take a moment. I haven't had a chance to do this yet. I want to thank all of the people that are tuned in right now.
Yes, thank you.
Lorraine SF, The Lone Olive, Circles of Fire, Jake Stetler, David P. Baker, LA Actress, Patty Fantasia, Erzin Design, Synthetic Fur, Get Stuck, Marinelle, Toskian, Mr. Wendell Films,
Nice.
just to
Thank
name
you
a
for
few.
listening.
And Peter, you mentioned this VidCon, and you said it's going to be in Los Angeles?
Yeah, it's taking place at a hotel, but all the information is at vidcon2010.com.
Okay.
It's a 3-day event, or it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of thing.
We're definitely going to look into that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can see
Thank
out
you.
there. You said that's in May, or when is that exactly?
It's in July. It's July 9th through the 11th.
Okay.
And I guess just lastly, we're just going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I would like to kind of take movie buzz to the next level. I feel like that's something. I know it's very high thinking, but I really like what I'm doing. Either if I become maybe a full-time critic, and maybe stay away from the news part. But I really enjoy the stuff that I'm doing and the people that I'm meeting and all that. But I would really like to kind of take movie buzz as far as it can go, because I have an absolutely fantastic time doing it. I'm always looking to improve and make my show better too.
Well, we have been speaking with Peter Rallis of Movie Buzz. For more about Peter's work, please visit youtube.com/RallisP. Well, thank you again, Peter.
Oh, thank you very much.
Peter, thank you for all these insights you shared.
Great, yeah, some great tidbits.
Really some great nuts and bolts surrounding YouTube and building an audience.
Yeah.
We've been looking forward to talking to you for a while. So
we have.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Peter. Telling the universe what we want is essential for manifesting goals. Yet, as much as we say we aspire to something, some of us are guilty of sending the universe mixed signals. I'm thinking of myself as I read this. Like an ex-lover who calls us to reunite, only to disappear a few weeks later, we fluctuate between putting our effort into a project and then retracting. Affirmations are a great way to solidify baby steps toward our goals. Posting signs around the house or repeating an inner mantra starts the process moving forward. One of the most notable writers on affirming and manifesting goals is Louise Hay. Louise Hay was born in 1926. In her early years, she endured sexual and physical abuse as well as a life of poverty. She dropped out of high school and gave up a child for adoption around the time she was 15. Determined to live a better life, Louise left home at a young age. Things fared better for Louise some years after. She held a career as a fashion model and married a prominent businessman. This seemingly better life took her into a new class and interesting set of experiences. Louise's life took many more twists and turns. She would later divorce, become a minister in a church dedicated to the New Thought movement, and come down with cervical cancer. Louise felt that her cervical cancer was caused by resentment toward her prior abuse. Determined to cure herself of the cancer through non-traditional methods, Louise changed her diet, practiced reflexology, and stopped her negative thinking. Within 6 months, Hay claims her cancer was gone. Even before her cancer, Louise had written a pamphlet about healing one's body and the mental connection to health troubles. She believed all ailments were caused by specific thoughts. In the 1980s, Louise began support groups for people suffering from HIV and AIDS. Her work with and acceptance of AIDS patients, when most of the medical community was baffled by the disease, led her to television and speaking engagements, including Oprah and Phil Donahue. The little pamphlet on healing the body eventually became a book in 1984 entitled You Can Heal Your Life. You Can Heal Your Life remained on the New York Times bestseller list for 13 consecutive weeks. She later began Hay House Publishing, continued to write numerous books, and developed You Can Heal Your Life into a film. Paraphrasing Louise's reminder that affirmations in whatever form do work, she says, "Most people do affirmations for a few days and then stop, claiming that they don't work. When the first little shoot comes up that closely resembles what we want, we stomp on it because it isn't $1 million. We have to give things a chance to grow." This has been another episode of Film Courage on LA Talk Radio. Please join us again next week for more interviews to inspire and educate. Have a great week.